Uniqueness is your superpower. After a successful but unfulfilling career in tech, I set off to uncover what makes people successful and satisfied. I discovered the systems of astrology and human design, studied and applied them for years, and exchanged my 9 to 5 for the entrepreneur's adventure. Now I share insight from the cosmic cutting edge. This podcast is for ambitious people ready to use their unique genius to create wealth, positive impact, and personal fulfillment. We'll talk personal branding, business, and leadership. Time to be courageous and seen. Let's reach for the stars. Hello, Cosmic Queens, Kings, and Royals. Today we are talking about what it's like being a multi-passionate manifesting generator. I want to talk about this concept of being multi-passionate because this is both a source of power and genius for manifesting generators and a source of shame and self-sabotage. So we got to talk about it. This is such a fun topic because whether you are a manifesting generator or or love or are coaching or supporting a manifesting generator, you're going to learn a lot through my examples. And I just can't wait to get into it. So I wanted to talk about this because I like talking about things that people are ashamed of. Call it my Scorpio Mercury. I love talking about the deep stuff, and I like talking about stuff that people are ashamed of so that we can stop wasting time being ashamed of being ourselves, and we can just choose to love it and choose to see it for the genius that it is and capitalize on it, hopefully, in business, life, love, all the things. So there's this aspect in human design, of being a manifesting generator that, people will say it's being multi-passionate or multi-talented, or, there's different kind of terminology that they use, but basically it means that we like to do lots of different things and we like to be busy and we can't really be tied down. And what's interesting is I have seen some people online kind of almost deny this or kind of fight against it and say, well, what do you mean manifesting generators are multi-passionate? Isn't everyone isn't everyone multi-passionate? And my answer to that is yes and no. Stronger on the no. Yes, everyone has interests. Yes, everyone has multiple things that they're interested in. Maybe they have hobbies, maybe they have different things that they like to do, but there's just something different about the way that manifesting generators are multi-passionate and multi-interested. We bring a whole other level of intensity to our multi-passions. We bring a whole other level of focus and obsession, shall I say, to our multi-passions. And it's fun. It keeps it interesting, it keeps it cool. And so, yeah, like if you're listening to this and you're not a manifesting generator, you're like, oh, that, like, but I'm multi-passionate. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, we all are. But I have really seen, not just because I myself am a manifesting generator, but in coaching clients and doing readings for hundreds of people, there is such a clear difference between the generators and the manifesting generators. I could probably do a whole podcast on just the difference. And in fact, I was thinking about that, but I wanted to like focus on this aspect first of being multi-passionate. There is such a difference. They are very different to work with and very different to observe. And I'll try to put this ephemeral difference into words for you. So, um, being multi-passionate, people have I am not an expert. Let me caveat this. I am not an expert in ADHD or autism or anything on the spectrum. I don't even know if I'm using the right terminology there, if we say spectrum anymore. But a lot of people, this is a very common question that I get is there a connection between ADHD and things like that, and being a manifesting generator? And I would love for someone to do that study. maybe someday with the right investment, I will do that study. But I would love for someone to do that study. I mean, in general, astrology and human design need a lot more study. I would love to see someone put millions behind some really amazing studies. I think that would be great. And it would also shut a lot of the naysayers up. Not that I care about them, but it would be great to have some studies. But so I think yeah, I think there probably is a connection, but we don't know and it's not proven and we're just speculating. We're purely speculating. But there are some things that people with ADHD and people who are manifesting generators seem to share. And one of them is, yeah, be loving stimulation, but also needing to be careful of self-sabotage with overstimulation. So we love to be busy. That is one thing. We love to be stimulated. We love to be busy. We like to be, learning new things. We like to be taking in new information. If you're around someone who is a manifesting generator, and I am generalizing here because there are other things in your chart that could change some of these aspects. For example, if you're a manifesting generator, but you're a 1-4 or a 4-1, your manifesting generator ness will look different from someone who's like a 3-5. So the profile lines are going to make a difference. The placement of the planets are going to make a difference. Your circuitry is going to make a difference. Your authority is going to make a difference. And so there's of course nuances to this, but I am speaking generally. So generally we love to be busy. We love to be busy. We love to be doing lots of things. We love to feel stimulated because it makes us feel alive. And this is how I always like to describe, if you're taking notes, write this down. And this is how I love to describe manifesting generators, especially if you're working on like branding or business, or how do you present yourself in your like kind of professional capacity in your career. I like to say that we are the bold experiencers. So we are here, and by here I mean like in this life, on this planet, at this time, we are here to experience things. And so it makes sense that we love to try new things, because if we were just doing the same thing over and over and over and we were more routine oriented, like some of the other types are more routine oriented or comfort oriented, then we would not enjoy all of these new things, right? We would be like, oh, I know what I like and I stick to it. But MGs are like, I know what I like today. And tomorrow that could absolutely change. And what a whirlwind that creates in our life. What a hurricane that creates in our life. And if you are someone who is, a partner to or lives with a manifesting generator, it's never a dull moment. It's never a dull moment, and you will never be bored. And that is one of the most important things for manifesting generators to remember and to love about themselves. Indulge yourself. You should not be bored. I don't love using the shoulds, but you should not be bored. If you are bored, there's something off. You are not boldly experiencing life if you're bored. There's something holding you back, and maybe there's something that needs to be worked on or looked at, or maybe you're in a time of feeling a little unsafe or whatever's going on. But bold experiencing is our natural way of being. We want to go out there and be the wind, be the whirlwind. So if I look at my own work history, like this is hilarious. In preparation for this podcast, I was like, let me use myself as an example here. I'm looking through all of the jobs that I've ever had. And of course, people, growing up, you're going to have summer jobs, you're going to have a variety of jobs, but I challenge you. Tell me in the comments, if you're watching a clip of this, or, wherever you're watching this on, if you're watching on YouTube, tell me in the comments or message me anywhere on social media. I want to know if you can beat me in terms of the number of jobs that you've had. I want to hear it. Tell me, please. So I listed them all out. So I have had 18 jobs. Well, I guess I could include mom. Should I include mom? Yeah, mom's a job, right? Let's say 18. So 18 jobs in my life that I could think of. There could be more, but let's say 8. Oh, no, I forgot one. Comedy show marketing rep. Okay. I forgot one. Okay, so I've had 19 jobs, 20 if you include being a mom. And And I'm working on the next one. I'm working on the next one, which is author. A lot of you know I'm working on my book. I am. It's not going to be done overnight. It may not be done in 2024. It's going to take a while. My goal is to get like draft one done in 2024 because it's going to be so good. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, as far as I could remember, let's say I have 19 jobs in my life, and they are crazy. I'm going to list them for you really quick just so you get an understanding of the variety, because it's not only the number of like places that you've worked, it's the sheer variety. And this is where we come to like, being needing stimulation, needing to not be bored, and like being willing to try a lot of stuff. Being willing to try a lot of stuff. Okay, so comedy show marketing lead, that was a hilarious moment in my life. Let me tell you about that at some point. Cleaner, house cleaner. That was my first job. That was my first business. I've had 5 businesses. I counted. Very cool. This is my 5th business, Cosmic Queen. Okay, house cleaner, animal food supplier, large animal nursery manager, foreign service. I worked for the foreign service. Personal shopper. Oh, one of my faves. So many stories from that. Fashion PR. I worked in fashion PR for several different agencies. Mobile advertising. Women's representative for my master's university. Chief of staff when I was undergrad. That counts. I was paid. These are things I was paid to do. And I applied for, or I created the position. Okay, grocery advertising manager, the most boring, horrible job I've ever had. Receptionist, nanny, advertising account manager, management consultant. I worked in tech in London. Coach, of course, event organizer, model. I've got stories there. I don't know how I've never told my modeling stories. Okay, I need to. This is going to be, yeah. Check out my TikTok, Life as a Libra. That's going to be my life as a Libra for this week. I'm going to talk about my modeling stories. So many stories. And business owner. And I'm working on number 20, author. So that's a lot, right? That's a lot of like really random seeming, like very odd kind of jobs. Like I wouldn't necessarily see that many threads between all of these. It's a little bit strange. But yeah, fun stuff. I have so many stories and I had so many adventures doing all these different things. And that didn't include any of the internships that I did. And it was so fun. It's fun. I've had a good life, like, and I'm just getting started. I'm 37. I am just getting started. Okay. So 18, 19 jobs so far. So what I love is that, like, I thought, no, that's not true. I did not think everyone was like this. I knew I was a little weird. I knew that I was odd for like always having all these different interests and like wanting to try different things. In college, I must have changed my major maybe 6 times. I remember laughing at myself every time I would go into the office and pick up the paperwork and fill it in and change my majors again. I was like a French minor at one point, and then I was like, should I be a French major because I wanted to become a cultural attaché or an ambassador. That was my goal at one point. And then I was like, oh, so I ended up doing 2 degrees. I did advertising and political science, and then I did a master's in marketing communication. But I switched back and forth a million times, could not decide what I wanted to study. I was like, I don't know. And I think that's very manifesting generator because I'm like, I don't want to specialize. I just want to experience college. I just want to experience learning a lot of stuff. And I came into college, and I could have finished college in 2.5 years with the amount of credits that I came in with, advanced credits, because I was like, I did so many different, advanced placement tests, SAT2s, like all of that stuff to try to test out of as many classes as possible so that I could really push my learning and learn as much as possible and just, not waste my time in college. For me, college was a stepping stone. I was like, I want to learn as much here so that I can go on and have like a really interesting, exciting career. And so multi-passionate, lots of different things. I've thought I could go into real estate. I've thought I could be an astronaut. I've thought I could be a singer. I've thought I could be a filmmaker. There were so many different things that I would love to do. And I think this is something that manifesting generators do a lot. We look at our interests and we say, let me go at that full force with all of my energy. You could say it's almost like a hyper focus kind of thing. We're like, oh, I think I'm going to do this now. Like I had about oh no, more than 3 years where I was like a vintage style maven. Like I dressed only in vintage and thrift shop finds. I, curled my hair. My hair is curly, but I curled my hair to be like pinup style. And I wore red lipstick every day and red nails. And like I just was super into vintage. And like you could say hyper focus on that for like a good number of years. I had an alter ego. I did all this stuff. I did photo shoots. It was so much fun. And then I had like a black phase where I was like, "Oh, I'm going to only wear black and I'm going to like just be very alternative and do all these things." And so I have all these different phases, right? But we kind of throw ourselves into it. We throw ourselves into things. I think this is a very manifesting generator thing. We get excited about stuff and we throw ourselves into it for, sometimes a short period of time, sometimes a number of years, and then we're done. And we've had that experience and we're finished with that now. And we're ready to move on to the next thing. And where the shame and embarrassment comes in, or the self judgment comes in, is when people are like, oh, but I shouldn't move on from this. Oh, but I've invested so much time and energy and effort and brain power and emotion. So I got to stick it out for whatever number of years. That's where we get in a twist, and where we need to learn how to let go of however we've been raised, which is like to stay committed to something, for 20 years and then retire or whatever it is, or 40 years, right? We're supposed to be in one job for 40 years and then retire. And we need to let go of that as manifesting generators, because that is just not our way. We need to get back to our natural way of being, which is to realize that there is a time for every passion. And for some passions, it may last our whole life. For some passions, they will come and go. And when the urges come, and when the impulses and the excitement builds, and the pleasure at whatever we're doing is just right there, we need to embrace it in that moment and let ourselves have fun with it, and let ourselves fully and boldly experience what we need to experience, and admit to ourselves when we are finished, when we are done, and it's time to move to the next thing. Being a serial entrepreneur is very much a manifesting generator thing. It's a natural way for manifesting generators to be. And you know what? It's actually, if even if you're not entrepreneurial, even if you don't want to own your own business, this manifesting generator strategy of kind of doing something and really focusing on it and doing it really well, and then moving on to the next thing a year later, that's actually a really smart strategy in terms of making money in the corporate world. So if you want to do that, this is what I did when I came to London. And I've seen since then several career coaches talk about this. Like, you should not be staying in a job longer than like 2-3 years. You should be moving. You should be, okay, I'm here for 2 or 3 years. Now I'm going to move to a different job, maybe same type of job, but or same industry or whatever, but I'm going to move to a different company, a different place, 2-3 years, and I'm going to maybe move back or move to a different one. But that's how you increase your salary, right? So it's smart economically, is my point. Is it's not that you're, oh no, I don't want my CV to look scattered. No, 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 no. We're not in the 1950s anymore where it pays, or it seems like it pays, to stay in one job for 40 years. That's not very smart. Don't do that. So you need to actually let yourself move around. You need to let yourself experience different things. It keeps you fresh. It keeps your edge. It keeps you excited and passionate about life. And when you're excited and passionate about life as a manifesting generator, you shine, you glow, you're doing your thing. People are like, oh my God, it is so fun. Let me talk about what other people think about this. Let me talk about this for a minute, because this is a major kind of self-sabotage thing that we do as manifesting generators. Is we worry that what other people think, that other people are looking at us and they think that we're not committed, that we're, too spontaneous, we're impulsive, all these things that are supposedly bad. And we worry that people are going to think we're not serious. Like, oh, they're not serious. They should be staying at their workplace for 10 years and then get a raise of 2%. They're not serious enough. And it's like, no, 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 no. What we need to do, obviously, is number one, let go of caring what TF people think about us. I think that's super important. That is number one, always. But secondly, just realize that just doesn't, it's not going to give you better results. It's not going to work well for you to force yourself to stay in one place and get bored. Be the whirlwind, be the tornado, be the person that is having the adventure, that is going out there and trying new things. Be the person who just loves to keep it interesting. So don't worry about the haters, but recognize that there are actually, and I'm speaking more to the entrepreneurs here or people who want to have their own personal brand, there's actually so much benefit that you get from indulging your natural manifesting generator multi passionateness. The natural benefit is that you put on a great show. You put on a great show. You are someone who is so fun to watch. Like, people are fascinated. Like, what is she doing next? What is going on now? I get that all the time from people. And I would say I'm not even the most, I mean, I'm not the most exciting in terms of manifesting generator, in that, I have a partner and a kid and we live in one place. Like, we're not digital nomads. I don't travel a ton, but people are still like, what are you up to now? Like, what are you doing now? What are you into now? Like, there's always stuff that I'm doing, that I'm learning, that I'm sharing about. I'm always keeping it interesting. And so that makes a great show to watch. And so if you are someone with a business, use that. Show that on the internet. Show people what you're interested in, even if it doesn't seem to, specifically connect to what you're teaching or selling. Like, for example, talking about my love of, like, sci-fi fantasy and romance books, talking about how I'm writing my book. Does that directly connect to what I do? No. Does it indirectly connect? Yes, because it's part of who I am and it's part of my experience and it's part of how I enjoy my life and I express myself. And so it makes a good show. So let yourself share your multi passions. Let yourself share that, like, you picked up a hobby and now you're putting it down again and you're on to the next thing. Don't worry about people thinking that you're scattered. Don't worry about people judging you for what you like. That's boring. It's boring. So don't be bored. Don't let yourself be bored. Let yourself be the fun, wild, crazy whirlwind of a person that you are, because it is so much fun for you when you do that. And it's also so much fun for us. I hope you enjoyed this episode and talking about being a multi passionate manifesting generator. You don't need to finish everything that you started. You don't need to be an expert at everything. Oh, this is like another little, okay, slight tangent before I close. This is another little thing. You don't need to be an expert at everything. Okay. There is way too much. That's for other types. So projectors are naturally drawn to be experts at what they do, and this is a big part of how they magnetize people. Generators too. Generators too. Manifesting generators, not so much. We don't need to be like, that's not our I was going to say kudos. That's not our genius, is necessarily like, oh, I am the best expert in this ever. I, maybe controversial statement, I have no desire to be the best, most highly skilled astrologer in the world. That is not my goal. My goal is not to have, if it was, I would have a lot more, like, degrees, certifications, whatever. I would be way more tapped into the kind of official recognized communities and things like this. No, my goal is not the accolades. My goal is not recognition in a certain industry. That's not my goal. My goal is to be the best Rachel Starr that I can be. My goal is to be the best version of myself, and that hopefully, by shining as bright as I do, I can support other people and inspire them. I think that the manifesting generator strategy as an entrepreneur and a personal brand is far more about inspiration than it is about expertise. Now, of course, I do have expertise. I am a fifth line. So, having a fifth line, there is also this draw to know things, to help people to solve problems, and to simplify things. So, I have this side of me. I'm also Sagittarius midheaven. I also, oh, what was the other thing I was going to? Oh, Saturn on the midheaven and Uranus on the midheaven as well. So, I have these other aspects of myself that have strong teacher energy. And so I love to teach people things. So I have certification programs, I have courses. I love to showcase and share my expertise because it really helps people, right? My expertise around astrology, human design, human behavior, all of these things. So I do have expertise, but it's not the thing that attracts people to me. And I know that people don't necessarily come to me because they're like, I want to know everything about my human design. They come to me because they're like, I want to know how to be myself using this tool that you happen to know. And I'm glad that it's human design, but it could be any tool, honestly. And so remember that as a manifesting generator. It's not about your expertise. It's not about the amount of degrees and diplomas that you have. Nobody cares that I have 3 degrees. Like I talk about it as an example of, me and me trying to decide what the heck I'm going to do in life, and also me as an overachiever. But I don't it doesn't matter. No one's going to ask me. No one asks where I went to college. No one asks where I got my certification as a life coach. No one cares. They want to know about me and my story, and this is a manifesting generator thing. If you're an MG, they want to know about you and your story and who you are, because your job is being the expert at you, and then you inspire other people to be the expert at them. So let yourself go out there and be the bold experiencer that you are. I love you so much. If you want to work with me privately to get to know yourself better, to understand more of the nuances of what I've talked about today, maybe you're a manifesting generator, maybe you're not, and you're like, "Ooh, this is so not me." But what is me? I want to know more. If you want to dive into your human design and astrology as tools to showcase and reveal and bring out your unique genius, then message me. Just message me. I'm very accessible on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere. Email me. All the links are in the show notes, and we can chat about how I can support you. I have my Crystal Mastermind is starting March 12th. I'm so excited for that. We are working with early entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to really bring their businesses to life in a way that really showcases their unique superpowers and genius and gifts. And I can't wait to get that going. That's for 3 months. And I work with people privately, of course, as well. I also have my constellation community, which is the best place to get started working on understanding your cosmic blueprint and the cosmic energies of the year as well. There's really exciting announcements coming up for the membership. So stay tuned for that. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your week. Keep reaching for the stars.